1 minute, guys. Thirty seconds. All right, here we go. Disclaimer incoming.
Phone app today.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Welcome to the Specumetrix Sunday Kickoff. It's time to get you ready for all of Sunday's action with your hosts, Lou Desmond and Jeremy James.
Yeah, it's the Specumetrix Sunday Kickoff Show here on KMET with Lou and Jeremy. Lots going on in the NFL, but first, although, Jeremy, you don't follow it, I got to say, it was a great, if you think of college football as the appetizer to the main course that's coming on Sunday with the NFL, a great appetizer day yesterday in college football. A lot of top teams going down, a lot of tight-fought battles. Really, really great Saturday. And
it was amazingly exciting.
It was
super cool. I loved it.
Yeah, I know you don't watch it. I'm just saying it was a great college football Saturday. All right, Specumetrix is all about picking the NFL games against the spread using nothing but statistical analysis of the numbers from this year, and we've got a few picks to go over with you today and a massive amount of line movement this week. Line movement means the Vegas book comes out and they say Giants plus 3.5. And then the line might move a point or a half point one way or another over the week. Moving up more than a point is kind of shocking. Moving multiple points is really a shocker. And we have a couple of games that did that this week. The Giants opened plus 3.5 against the Rams. The Rams are going across the country to play in New York against the G-Men, who have been struggling but get a couple of receivers back this week, including Sterling Shepard. Might have found a running back. Giants plus 3.5 was the opening line. That line is now Giants plus 6.5. That line moved a full 3 points.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of points for a line to move.
I assume it's a lot. I know nothing.
No. It's to double the line is crazy.
Okay.
What that means is everybody was betting on the Rams.
Yeah.
Because you have to keep giving more and more points to the Giants to try to get more people on the Giants side. Currently, 72% of the public money is still on the Rams.
I think that one of the reasons for all that, I think the general betting public is kind of like me. And they still don't really understand what they're doing. They're betting on the team. They just, this team's going to win. I'm going to put my money on them.
Right.
They don't understand all the odds and the lines and all that stuff. I think that's why
that's why you have the sharps, which are the people that are in the know, and it's a very small percentage of the bettors. The squares make up the vast majority. They bet their fandom. They do exactly what you just did, which is, the Rams are better, so they're going to win.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. The Rams are going across the country. The Rams have played a lot of cupcake teams. The Giants have one of the best pass rushes. So, for that line to move 3 points and still 72% of Vegas knows something we don't. If that line was 3.5 to start, Vegas knows something we don't. Just saying. Specumetrix says take the Giants and the points. Another line with massive movement. The Carolina Panthers opened at -1 against the Falcons, meaning basically the book thought the Panthers-Falcons was a pick'em, but the Panthers would win at home. Who do you like in that game, Panthers or Falcons playing in Carolina?
I like the Panthers.
That line is now Panthers plus 3.
Really?
Yes.
At home.
At home.
It
went from Panthers -1 to Panthers plus 3. That means that's a four-point move.
Wow.
You know why? Everybody was betting on the Falcons, but now that is a 50-50 split. I got the line early in the week. I thought Panthers -1, and that's what Specumetrix had it at.
Yeah.
I think Panthers +3 at home against the Falcons is a steal. Absolute lock of the week. Panthers plus the points. 49ers +2.5 against the Cardinals. That line didn't move at all. It's still +2.5 against the Cardinals. 63% of the public money is on the Cardinals. This game is in San Francisco. Jeremy, the 49ers +2.5 against the Cardinals. The Cardinals got shut out last week.
Yeah, they didn't look great with Carson Palmer. They look just a mess without him.
Yeah, Carson Palmer's gone.
Yeah, so what, Drew Stanton?
Drew Stanton.
Is a starter.
David Johnson is still out.
Yeah, and he probably will be for the rest of the season.
Adrian Peterson is going to get
who knows?
35 carries probably
Yeah.
if they do it right. Low-scoring game, ugly, bad weather in San Francisco. Is this the week? Do the 49ers get a win?
Yes.
I think the 49ers win
I think
today.
they do. I think that they get their first
They
win.
get lucky. They get Drew Stanton. They get no David Johnson. The 49ers have been playing scrappy. Does Jimmy G play?
No.
No.
He does not.
No. All right, 49ers +2.5 against the Cardinals. The Chiefs and the Cowboys in one of the best games of the day. Specumetrix, again, massive line movement.
It's going to be a fun game.
Line open, Chiefs -1. It is now Chiefs +2.5. I took it at Chiefs -1. I think they're a better team than Dallas.
Yeah.
I know the game is in Dallas. The Chiefs have to win. No, because the Raiders
No, they're still leading.
stink.
They're still
They'll
leading their division by a game or two, I believe
Right.
now. So they don't have.
They
to
don't
win.
have to
This
win.
is a bigger game for Dallas as far as the win goes.
The Chiefs are just a better team, though, aren't they?
I
And
believe
when does the Ezekiel Elliott drama start to finally wear on this team? You know, he didn't practice most of the week. He was in New York for his hearing, and then he was here, and then he was there.
You know, the media has been talking that up ever since he came
But you
back.
don't think it's not.
It's a running back position, a guy who knows exactly.
You
what he's
had me
supposed-
ball, me run.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
it. Give him the ball. He's going to run through holes. He doesn't know the game plan inside and out. He'll figure it out as they go. It's
You know
not
what?
a problem.
Hand me the ball, I'll run down the field.
He has the potential to have one of his biggest games of the season today because their
but
run
the
defense.
Chiefs got what's his name back? Holly.
Yeah, but still, that run defense is what 30th in the league right now. So, and they're playing one of the better backs.
All right, so what do you think? I've got Chiefs winning that game.
No, I still have the Chiefs winning the game. I'm just saying I don't think that old hoopla about him not practicing with the team is going to make any difference whatsoever.
Yeah, you know, I'm sorry, but Ezekiel Elliott I don't think he's a super genius. Just saying, you know what I mean? I don't think he's a guy who's really self-aware and is going to be affected a lot by deep thoughts.
No, like you said, give me ball, I run.
Me get ball, me run.
That's it.
Okay. Dolphins in the final Specumetrix pick of the week. Dolphins +4 was the opening line. It's now Dolphins +3. Oh, by the way, to go back to Chiefs-Cowboys, the money is exactly evenly split. 50-50.
Really?
50% of the money on the Chiefs, 50% on Dallas.
That's all fandom right there.
Which is interesting because Dallas usually gets a lot more money and a lot more betting than any other team in the NFL. And it's exactly what you just said. People bet their fandom. Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you, if you could get the Chiefs +2.5 at this point, grab it.
Did the line change after the announcement was made that Zeke was going to be playing?
Yes, then move the other direction.
Okay.
Dolphins +4 against the Raiders. That line is now +3. And the money is just about evenly split. So it went down 1 point, which means the Dolphins were getting all the action. So they shrunk the line a little bit more to try to push more money towards the Raiders. The Raiders are a home.
No,
They're a road favorite.
Yeah.
So it's Raiders -3 now. We're going to talk about this game in Raider Talk.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of confidence in the Raiders, and I think this is going to be a close game to the end. Dolphins and the points is the Specumetrix pick. All right, so the Specs picks, Giants plus the points, Panthers at home to win, 49ers +2.5, Chiefs -1 over the Cowboys, Dolphins +4 to keep it close against the Raiders. And my bonus pick, Eagles -7 against the Broncos. Specumetrix NFL Sunday. We will be right back right after this.
We'll be right back with more pregame.
All clear.
I need Chris Ivory to get at least 14 points. Match what that fucker Robbie Anderson did.
Hopefully, for your case, Ivory gets more of the carries than Yeldon does.
Chris Ivory runs angry. I like him. Well, they said Chris Ivory was getting the start.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he will.
Yeldon's more the third down guy.
Yeah, but he had that huge game the other week when Fournette was out.
Yeah, well, I don't like that, so
So it didn't happen?
it didn't happen. Exactly. Boy, I got screwed on taking the lines early this week. Terrible. I saw that Panthers -1, and I thought, oh, that's never going to be any better than that. And it ends up you can get a +3. What that also does to you is you can't hedge your bet by putting a little money the other way, because the spread has changed so much that you could easily fall in between and lose both. In other words, so you've got, let's say it opens Panthers -1.
Mm-hmm.
The mirror opposite would be
1
Falcons
minute,
+1,
1 minute.
right? Well, if you bought Panthers -1 at $100, and let's say you just at the end weren't totally sure of the bet, you could maybe put 25 the other way, right? And then at least you're making some money back in case it goes the wrong way, right? Well, but now that the line is +3, on the other side it's -3. So what could very easily happen is, let's say the game ends and the Falcons win by 2, you would lose Carolina -1, and you lose Carolina +2. +1, and you would lose Atlanta plus.
Okay, here we go,
-3.
guys.
You
10
lose on
seconds.
both sides of the bet.
That's SECURESERV44@gmail.com. Let Secure Serve be your next step. SecureServe44@gmail.com.
Listen up, Raider Nation. It's time for Raider Talk on the Specumetrix Sunday Kickoff.
Go Raiders!
Oakland Raiders, Oakland Raiders, Oakland Raiders. Just win, baby, win, baby, win, baby. Don't need no invitation. We are that Raider Nation.
Yeah, Raiders, Raider Talk here on the Specumetrix Sunday Kickoff Show. It is time when Lou and Jeremy, two diehard Raiders fans, talk about the Raiders and the season and the game coming up tonight. A big game, I assume, when they originally put it on the schedule. The surging Oakland Raiders and the playoff-bound Miami Dolphins, both were playoff teams last year, would clash on Sunday Night Football. And instead, it's the Raiders who suck and the Dolphins who suck. The Dolphins scoring the least points in the NFL. The Raiders just last week getting blown out in embarrassing fashion against the Buffalo flippin' Bills, of all people. It did look like Jay Schrader and the Raiders playing the Bills in the playoffs in the 80s. It was horrible. I thought the days of my going, well, it's halftime at the Raider game, maybe I need to find something else to do with the rest of my time, were over a couple of years ago, but we are right back to it, Raider Nation. You have to watch the flippin' Raiders games with both hands covering your eyes and the volume turned down. And you know, it's just I'm beside myself. I am apoplectic. I am pissed at how bad they are playing. I am sickened by this team.
How do you really feel, Lou?
Yeah, exactly. Disgusted.
It's been a tough season.
Disgusted.
A lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense. We know some of the issues. We've had injuries.
Defense?
Yeah. We've had injuries on defense. We've had scheme changes on the offensive side with the offensive line for no particular reason that I can understand. Like I said, they paid all that money and built up this huge power blocking offensive line, and they went to a zone blocking scheme, which none of these guys are really built for.
That's like buying a dragster to go off-roading. That's about how much sense that makes.
Yeah, so that didn't make any sense. You know, we have our 2 top rookies who are supposed to come in and help our secondary, and neither one of them have
played.
Conley's seen the
Conley
field
played a
once.
game.
One game, yeah. We might see
Showed
Obi,
some promise.
but we might see Obi tonight. We might see Obi Melanfonwu because they've got so many injuries going on in the secondary. He's now active. He's been practicing, so we might actually see him in the game tonight. So, I mean, it's something to look forward to. Maybe this kid has something. You know, we'll see what our second-round pick this year finally can do.
You know what I'm hoping that we get a win. I'm not terribly confident. And also, I have a bone to pick with the schedulers of the NFL. So let me get this straight. The Raiders get to travel to Buffalo, travel to Miami, and then travel to Mexico City on a short week to play the Patriots. What the hell is that about?
Well, they got a bye in between Miami and New England and Mexico. And they just stayed back east. They didn't come back home at all.
I know. It's just, it always seems like the Raiders get the blank end of the stick in the scheduling.
It does seem like that, but it also seems like that for some of the other West Coast and East Coast teams that have to go back and forth. You know, when you live on a coast and you got to travel all the way across country to play a game, it's going to take its toll on all the teams.
Once they get to Vegas, I guess it'll be a little bit easier, right?
Not much.
Not much. An hour.
Yeah.
An hour.
But not much difference now.
All right. Besides being totally disgusted, our turnovers this year are bad. Our turnover ratio is bad. That's literally what really hurt us in the Buffalo game was turning the ball over.
Yeah.
The fumbled punt was the end. That was the turning point of the game. At that point, we're never back in it again.
That was a momentum changer.
Yeah. Never back in the game after that. But let's face it, before that, we didn't look very good on either side of the ball.
No, and what's killing me, I know we've had injuries.
It's so bad.
I know we've had talent problems and stuff, but the fact that we are the first team in NFL history to go through 8 games without an interception.
Yeah.
We have not picked off one quarterback.
Because we don't get any pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
We have Khalil freaking Mack, and we can't get pressure on the quarterback?
It's a scheme. I don't believe in our scheme.
Hey, I know. I've got a super great defensive player. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put him at the same place every time so the offense has a really easy time scheming against him. What the hell is wrong with our defensive coordinator? Move him around. Stand him up. Put him to the left. Put him to the right. Do a huddle muddle so they don't know where he's coming from. What the hell is wrong with him?
I wonder if maybe they're thinking if they take him off of the off the end and stick him at linebacker for some plays on the other side, if they don't have anybody to replace him with. I mean, their talent they talk it up, but it hasn't shown up yet.
Mario Edwards has been a bust.
He's been okay this season. He's had some good, decent games.
He is not an impact player. He was too high of a draft pick.
Oh yeah, so is Jihad Ward.
And so is Jihad Ward. And the kid from UCLA, Vanderdoes, he shows up every now and then. I mean, we're just Reggie McKenzie. Remember the very first round pick, a cornerback who never really played.
No. He never
right?
panned
He
out.
never showed up.
Never panned out.
I know. Let's take the first round pick with the heart problem. What the hell? Come on. There's lots of good NFL players out there you can get.
Yeah, he's still. I mean, it was a great draft that one year, but he still gets too much credit for the year he pulled Mack and Carr in rounds
Which,
1 and 2.
which frankly, Carr fell into his lap because people were afraid of the last name.
Yeah. Yeah, his brother's career is what hindered him.
Yeah, he would have been a
round.
first-round draft pick otherwise.
Yeah.
We got straight damn lucky with Derek Carr, honestly.
Yeah, but really, when you look at it and the players, how they've been performing on the field, while we seem to talk it up a bit about how Reggie McKenzie can pull these great draft picks and late, good find talent late, it hasn't really looked that way. It hasn't been coming out on the field.
What is the strongest unit on our team? The offensive line.
Yeah,
Where did most of those players come from?
from free agency.
Free agency.
Yeah, all except one.
Yeah.
We only have one guy on there, and
So Derek Carr fell into his lap. Amari Cooper, you would have to be nuts not to have taken him where we took him, right?
Cooper was a solid first round pick.
Arguably, the best receiver on the team is Michael Crabtree.
Right now, yes,
And where did we get him?
free agency.
Free agency. Our starting running back, where did we get him? Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah.
Free agency. He is honestly, if you look at his draft record, Reggie McKenzie's draft record sucks.
Yeah, it's not nearly as good as people. try to
How
give
did
him
we
credit
not
for.
know Gary and Conley had a shin problem?
He didn't. That happened during spring training and all that, and then it never healed up. He didn't come out of college with that injury. That happened during the offseason.
Well, and then
but
how
still.
did we not know he was injury prone? How?
Well, people are gonna, even if he does turn into something decent, people are gonna question that pick forever because of the situation he had going on during the draft. With his legal issues.
That guy had to have been a surefire Pro Bowler to take him where we took him with the baggage that he had hanging over his head. And he sure as hell hasn't been that.
No, he hasn't even been on the field. We haven't seen the kid play. He's played in one game, and that's it.
So, look, Reggie McKenzie, I don't know. To me, besides the one great draft, the scorecard is kind of out there to me. Our defensive coordinator sucks.
He's
okay?
got to go.
He's got to go.
He's had this on-the-job training he's been getting is.
It's not working.
No, he needs to go back to,
You know what? He's a linebackers coach. Keep him around.
Coach linebackers.
Coach linebackers.
He should not
be a motivational guy.
coordinator.
He is not the coordinator.
No.
Even with Khalil Mack and just a decent surrounding cast, you should be able to be a top 15 defense. Khalil Mack is that good. He is a complete game changer. And even with that one piece and just decent pieces around him, if you're a decent defensive coordinator, you can get enough out of Mack to cover up a lot more problems than our defensive coordinator is doing.
Mack should be able to take over games the same way like a J.J. Watt or a
Exactly.
Von Miller do.
Yeah.
He has that kind of talent.
He has that kind of talent.
But he's
being misused.
Yes,
he's being completely misused. And then on the offensive side of the ball, let's be frank. 1 and 2 receiver are damn good. Jared Cook is a great tight end.
He's playing really well.
The running backs that we have, you put all three of them together, you've got a decent running game. Our quarterback is a Pro Bowler. We have one of the best offensive lines in the league. How can we be this bad on offense? How?
You look at the first drive last week, I thought we were just going to
blow the doors off.
Yeah, I thought we were going to score a bunch of points and just have our way with them, and then it shut down completely. And honestly, part of it, I still blame the offensive line scheme. The fact that they're trying to run a zone blocking scheme with
Why don't
those
you just put
guys.
them in ballerina skirts and toe shoes?
Yeah, it's a really bad game planning and bad scheming to put that offensive line, the size they have, the mass of those guys.
If I was an offensive coordinator, I would be salivating to have the Raiders' toolbox.
Yeah, that offensive line with those weapons.
That offensive line with those weapons and a quarterback that definitely can get the ball in a tight window. He's got all the tools, and you can't score more than 17 points on Buffalo?
I mean,
what the hell's the matter with you?
You even got a guy like Cordero Patterson who you can use for
leading the league in kickoff returns.
Yeah, but he can be, one of those.
And we don't use him except every now and then.
Yeah, he can be one of those, trick play kind of guys and stuff like that.
What? How about spreading the field and going 4 wide every now and then?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't understand it. It's bad scheming. It's bad play calling. And
let's hope they can turn it around tonight heading into the bye week.
we got a clean house at the end of the season. All right. Specumetrix Sunday kickoff show. When we come back, we talk fantasy football. Right back right after this.
We'll be right back with more.
All clear. One minute. 1 minute. Okay, guys, here we go. 10 seconds.
$1 million insurance policy. Easer is your last mile solution. That's geteaser.com.
Listen up, you armchair quarterbacks. It's time for the Easer Fantasy Moves of the Week. Visit geteaser.com. Now here are your hosts, Lou and Jeremy.
Well, we're back here, and of course, fantasy football is Jeremy's area of expertise. He has been a fantasy football guru for, 20 years, but even the guru has lessons to learn every now and then, as something that is unprecedented, has never happened in 20 years of fantasy football happened to Jeremy this week.
Yeah, it never happened to me. It may have happened to others, but I have never had I don't recall ever really having this happen even for one player. I don't know if I've ever owned a fantasy player that got traded during the season. And to have two of my top players
traded.
And it's
I
sad
mean,
to
that
say
is the fantasy football gods just whipping it out and, You know what? All over your head.
Yeah, you
Just saying.
For me to say that these are two of my top players, you can see how my fantasy season
Yeah.
has been going.
Exactly.
But yeah, Jay Ajayi and Kelvin Benjamin both traded to situations that I don't think are as good as the ones they were in.
Ajayi goes to a better team.
He goes to a better team with a better offensive line, but he's also got more people vying for carries there.
Right.
He's got to deal with Blunt. He's got to deal with Smallwood, who's a third down back. So I don't know. We're not going to see much of Ajayi this week. If you have him in your lineup, get him out.
Well, they said they have a package for him of 15 plays that he had to learn this week.
And
And they may have him on the field for like 5 plays that are called to him.
And, you know, that kind of
So
volume.
he's not going to have a giant
No, that kind
game
of volume
today.
of going against the Denver Broncos. I don't recommend anybody from the running game on Philadelphia going against Denver.
The Brock Osweiler era starts again. And God, what a mess.
And then, you know, you look at
John Elway's another overrated GM, by the way.
yeah, he had his good season or two, and then but Benjamin as well. He got shipped off from Carolina to Buffalo, where he's going to be the number one guy. He's got a very similar style.
Yeah, because
quarterback.
Buffalo thinks they're a playoff team ready to make a run, and they needed something at wide receiver.
Yeah, they definitely did. I mean, that definitely picks up, you know, Tyrod Taylor. He might have a better second half of the season having that kind of weapon there. It could take a while before Benjamin gets in a groove there with Taylor and Buffalo. And if you've been relying on him as a number 2 or 3 receiver all season,
Bye-bye.
yeah, it's going to be tough to keep relying on him. I mean, he couldn't even play this week because he had no idea what the game plan was. So
Get out there and play receiver.
So, yeah,
I don't know any of the signals. I have no idea.
both of those guys on one team made it really it was just frustrating. I'm reading the news and I'm going, wait, what? That's my guy. Wait, what? That's my other guy. And then all of a sudden I had two guys.
That's me in injuries. It's like, what do you mean Dalvin Cook's done for the
Yeah,
year? What do you
so-
mean Greg Olson's done for the year? What do you mean?
These are two guys I just pretty much left in my lineup all season, and I had to drop them both for this week and figure out something else. And now I wonder what I can do with them moving forward. You know, because I already had Blunt on my team as a backup. Now I got the entire Philly running game. I wouldn't know who to start
You
from
know,
week to week.
I know they say this is a game of skill, and FanDuel and DraftKings claim that, you know, they're 5% of the people always win in the money and 95% of the people always lose, that kind of thing. I swear to God, though, fantasy football, so much of it is luck.
A lot of it is luck, but
I mean, injuries for me always play a huge role. And being injury-free, being trade-free, that's huge. And it just, I don't know. It's annoying.
Yeah, your injury history in fantasy football is insane.
Horrendous.
Yeah, I've never.
You know
seen anything
what
quite like
I
it.
said? You know what I think I'm going to do next year is, since I'm never going to win a fantasy football season anyway, what I'm thinking of doing is every team that the Raiders are going to play, I'm going to pick up the best player on that team and put him on my roster because he's sure to get injured. So I'm going to pick up everybody I can from like the Chiefs and the Chargers and the Broncos. And the whole AFC West will just be decimated with injuries because it'll be the curse of Lou Desmond and fantasy football.
I like it.
Just saying.
Let's try that next season.
Chris Ivory, by the way, if you have him.
Yeah, Fournette is out. If you were not aware, if you haven't heard that news yet, Fournette is out today, inactive, will not be playing.
And not only is he out and inactive, you know, with an injury, which kind of happened last week, this week Chris Ivory has known for several days he's going to be starting.
Yeah, so he's going to get the rock today. Yeldon will be the third down back, and we know the kind of game he had, 2 or 3 weeks ago. He had that
Yeah,
huge
he had a huge game.
But yeah, if you know, we got multiple
Chris
teams.
Ivory runs angry.
Multiple teams on a bye again. Injuries, Fournette's out. So if you can get Ivory off the
Of
waiver
course,
wire,
if you're
or if you
Lou
got him on your
Desmond,
bench,
the team that you're playing doesn't have any bye problems.
Yeah,
because
but
that would be my luck.
it's not all about the Lou Desmond team.
I know,
though,
I'm
is
just
it,
saying.
So get Fournette out of your lineups.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That
He's
is
not going to be
work for you
playing
today.
Just saying.
This is another guy that's inactive today, kind of a surprise. He's not in anyone's lineup, but just in case, Jeremy Hill, Cincinnati, isn't active today, which could mean more carries, though, for Mixon and Bernard. So if you need to get one of those guys in your lineup, this would be the week to do it, with Hill not even going to be a factor at all. So something to consider if you have either of those other Cincinnati running backs. Speaking of that game, Jacksonville, we already talked about Fournette. Marquise Lee is active today. He's been a guy that's people have been using him maybe as a third and fourth receiver off the bench this season. Solid enough matchup going against Cincinnati this week, so he's someone you can get back in your lineup with a busy bye week as well.
Jimmy Garoppolo, don't go run out and pick him up.
No, don't go pick him up. I mean, no. Just don't go pick him up. Give him a couple of weeks to play, see how he looks in the offense. If they even get to him much this season, I don't know. We may not see him much. I'm really not sure how ready he's going to be to play in the next couple of weeks.
No, I don't expect to see. You're going to have to put him on the field at some point, but I don't think it's going to be for several weeks.
If your quarterback situation in fantasy is so bad that you're like kind of going,
maybe Jimmy Garoppolo.
Maybe Jimmy Garoppolo would be
well,
a savior.
but it also depends on your buy situation. You know, Blake Bortles is not. Well, no, he's not a buy for me. So I do have my choice between Stafford or Bortles.
You think about the injuries that have happened this season.
No Andrew Luck.
And then just some of the bad quarterbacks that teams have had. Look at some of the starting names for
Tom
quarterbacks,
Savage.
right? Tom Savage.
Brock Osweiler.
Brock Osweiler is starting
who we
again.
all thought was done when he was cut by the Browns.
Jacoby Brissett is, a starter.
Deshaun Kaiser is a hot mess.
Yeah, he's a big old mess. Who's starting? Drew Stanton is a starter right now. I don't even know the 49ers guy's name.
It's not Hoyer. It's
Hoyer's
Whedon. It's not Whedon. It's
Hoyer's been traded.
Yeah, it was the Iowa guy.
Yeah. You never know from week to week who's going to start for the Dolphins now. You got Brent Hundley.
Well, Cutler is supposed to play tonight.
Yeah, you got Brent Hundley starting for the Packers. I mean,
my Lord.
These names and the guys that have starting jobs in the NFL right now, it's just.
Where is Colin Kaepernick, by the way?
It's insane. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
I know the guy's got some controversy around him, but he, as a player,
Tom Savage
has more potential than at least a dozen starters right now in the league.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea why these guys are getting signed and he's being ignored. If you need some skill, he's better than at least a dozen guys starting right now.
That's true. There's probably, but
One minute.
Lou Desmond's rule of life, Jeremy. It's always about the money. And the NFL owners are betting that they're better off not bringing in Kaepernick and losing games than they are bringing him in and having a fan revolt. Because that's what would happen. I think he could go to a Seattle.
Yep.
He could go to a New York team. But you try to bring him in somewhere in the Midwest,
Well,
it's not going to happen. Or the South, not going to happen.
If I'm a team and I'm even considering it, go to Twitter, go to Facebook, poll the fans. Get a little beat on what they're thinking. Say,
for the Texans?
Hey, for the fans. Hey, what would you think about Kaepernick?
He's certainly
And
a
they'll
better
let you
player
know.
than Tom Savage.
They'll let you know.
We're out of time.
All right.
Specumetrix, come back. Your NFL picks games of the week right after this.
We'll be right back with more pregame.
All clear. 1 minute. Okay, guys, here we go. 10 seconds.
Run your business. Loan Doctor can be reached at 909-230-0024 or evaldez at theloandoctor.loans.
Let's take a look at all of Sunday's action with the latest news and notes on the Specumetrix Kickoff Sunday with Lou and Jeremy.
All right, so it is time here where we normally talk about the big games coming up today, and we will get to that. But first, the trade deadline, which is usually a snoozer in the NFL, but is very exciting in the NBA and also in Major League Baseball. Actually, really, some blockbuster stuff happened this year.
Yeah, it was actually kind of an exciting trade deadline.
Not
for
good
the
for your
NFL.
fantasy football team.
Yeah, I may not have liked the outcome on some of the trades for my teams, but it made it exciting, and we don't get that often at all in the NFL. Just like you said, the occasional trade, and usually it's some like role player for like a 6th round pick, or something like that. But there were some major names moved and some big changes, and it was really made it for an exciting few days.
All right, so the Chargers, first of all, we'll go sort of in descending order of importance, okay?
Actually, before we do that, fantasy football thing I forgot to mention.
Yes.
If people are still listening, Zach Ertz.
Oh, he's out.
You're the tight end. He is the leading tight end in the NFL right now. Philadelphia Eagles. Zach Ertz is out today.
That could have an effect on the line.
So get him out of your lineup and find another tight end. For
So you go to fantasy football, I go to the betting.
Yeah.
And I think Eagles -7, no Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Denver Broncos, Brock Osweiler. It is in Philadelphia, so they don't.
Philly.
I don't know. I still like Philadelphia in that game. I don't know. 7 may be too many.
But just keep that in mind as you're setting your lineups here. 13 minutes
A
till
lot of
kickoff.
trade stuff if you're catching up. So the Chargers have been trying to deal Dontrell Inman for some time, and he goes to Chicago.
Yeah, he was their 4th or 5th guy there. Wasn't getting any playing time, not like he did last year. I mean, you remember last year with all the injuries
He was
they
pretty.
had.
Yeah, the injuries put him on the field. He showed he could play.
Yeah, he had 60 catches, 800 yards, 6 touchdowns. That's a solid season. And now he is probably the best receiver in Chicago at the moment.
Correct.
And he'll probably get some playing time this
Long
week.
term, he probably drops back to like 3rd receiver in
Over
Chicago
time.
over time.
Over time, yeah.
But he'll get some playing time now. Marcel Darius, who is a defensive talent, the Bills move him, and he goes to Jacksonville. This is a trade. What?
The rich get richer.
Yeah, I know.
That defense is already insane, and it's finally come together this season.
Right.
And it is just – that defense is sick. And now you add a guy like Darius who's a great run stopper.
Yeah, boy.
I mean, he doesn't even need to start. He's going to come in on situational down.
And this was a great pickup because Darius didn't get moved because he can't play. Or he got moved because he just didn't. They just didn't get along. The Bills coaching staff and the front office and Darius just had worn out their welcome with each other.
Yeah.
So Jacksonville gets lucky
Shipped him off.
and
Got
gets a
something-
really good player for not much.
Got something for him. He went to a team that's in the playoff hunt and is part of just an excellent defense right now.
The Seattle Seahawks got a lot better. They needed help along the offensive line, and the Houston Texans have had problems with Dwayne Brown, who's a very good left tackle. He held out the first 6 games. He wanted more money. He recently had disparaging things to say about ownership and the owner personally, Bob McNair. So guess what? Seattle gets a great left tackle for basically nothing.
Yeah, and that's huge for Seattle because their offensive line is
terrible.
their weak link for sure. You give Russell Wilson a little more time in the pocket, and you give him a little more protection, open up a couple more holes, that offense could really improve with a solid left tackle, and we'll see that over the next few weeks.
In a move that reminds me of one of the worst trades ever, where the Dallas running back who's now with the Titans, he led the league.
DeMarco Murray.
Yes, DeMarco Murray going to the Philadelphia Eagles. Once again, the Eagles trade for a running back. Jay Ajayi goes from Miami, where he was the leading rusher.
Yep.
Who trades their leading rusher during the season?
Well, he was a leading rusher, but he was also struggling. He was not having the kind of season he had last year. But I'll say this was completely out of left field. I had no idea that they would even consider trading this kid off. He's a young guy. He's talented. He had a great season last year.
It's a personality thing again. Adam Gase doesn't like Jay Ajayi, and Jay Ajayi doesn't like Adam Gase. And so they shipped off a good player basically for nothing.
Yeah, and the thing is, they don't have
anything else.
Anything behind it. I mean, they're going to have a running back.
I mean, I'm glad the Raiders are playing the Dolphins tonight, and they don't have Jay Ajayi.
Yeah, I mean, they've got some young guys, but, I mean, these are, second, third stringers are going to have to form a committee now.
Though, playing the Raiders defense, basically whoever is the running back from Miami, their maximum trade value will be after this game tonight. So whatever they do tonight, that's going to be the book of work, and just sit on it and say, this is what I need to get paid for. The Carolina Panthers, Kelvin Benjamin, gone. Their number 2 receiver?
No, he was their
number 1 receiver, gone.
He was their number 1 guy. He was their biggest receiver, their most talented receiver.
What is the Panthers' motivation to do that? It's not like their offense is doing well.
He has had a bit of an up and down career so far.
Is he the guy that came in fat?
He came in a little fat, overweight after an injury-filled season.
Yeah, he came in fat.
And I have a feeling this had to do with the fact that they don't want to pay him the kind of money next season when he's a free agent that they were going to have to.
Yeah, he's looking for a long-term deal after this year.
Yeah, so I don't think they're ready to commit to him. I also think that it might have been a little addition by subtraction. I think they wanted to get the ball to McCaffrey a little bit more and wanted to focus more on the running game. And I think they're going to try to do that. McCaffrey and Funchess, I think, are really going to benefit fantasy-wise and number-wise.
My new team name, I have to change my name.
Yeah, I like that name.
Honey Funches of Oats.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's going to be the new fantasy football team next year.
But you know what, though? That crazy trade I made a week ago or two for Amari Cooper for Funchess doesn't look so bad for Mike anymore.
No, and that's right.
It doesn't look so bad. Trade for him.
Right.
Now he's got the number 1 receiver in
and
Carolina.
And then remember, everybody thought I was getting robbed when I gave up Dak Prescott for Will Fuller and Austin Seferian-Jenkins. I'm not Dak Prescott, Dez Bryant. And Will Fuller's been great, and Seferian-Jenkins has been starting for me every week and putting up decent tight end points. When I had nothing at tight end anymore because Greg Olsen got hurt.
But I think it's one of those trades that'll work out for both teams. I think the Panthers are just kind of looking to do something different on offense and not spend the money on a top
And I
receiver.
think their offense was being forced through Benjamin.
Yeah, they had to get him the ball.
And it's just like, you know what? We have better options, faster options. Let's focus on that.
And now they give Tyrod Taylor and the Buffalo Bills a top weapon, which they needed on the outside for them. So.
And then the trade of the blockbuster trade of the week that nobody saw coming, Jimmy Garoppolo to the 49ers from the Patriots.
And this again,
be careful what you wish for.
This again, I understand, is because they could not come to an agreement.
Correct. Garoppolo wanted to play.
He wants to try to start.
And he didn't want to sit behind Brady another 3 years. And so his agent's deal was, if you're going to make my guy sit, you're still going to have to pay him like a starter. And they wanted $23 million for Jimmy Garoppolo, guaranteed.
Yeah. And that's too much
way
money.
too much money for a backup quarterback.
For a backup, yeah, you're really not. I mean, I know he's played well in spots, but you still really don't know what you're getting with this kid after a full season.
Matt Castle won, 12 games?
12 or 11 games.
12 or 11 games?
In that offense. And then
and never did anything anywhere else.
Exactly.
So this says Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, for better or for worse, the cupboard is bare in New England.
Yeah,
it is Brady or bust. They've traded away both their quarterbacks of the future. And Tom Brady has got to be smiling like a Cheshire cat because guess what? You don't have any choice anymore.
Well, you know what? New England will probably take that number 2 they got from the 49ers and get themselves another young backup quarterback.
Potential backup quarterback.
Because, you get another guy for 3 or 4 years, and maybe then that's when Brady will be ready to move on.
Other interesting quarterback news in the league, A.J. McCarron was going to be traded to the Bengals from the Browns. He didn't know that.
No, from the Bengals to the...
I'm sorry, so from the Bengals to the Browns.
Yeah.
But the Browns screwed it up and didn't get the paperwork into the NFL office on time. So the whole deal fell through at the last moment. It had all sort of gone public by then. So now your quarterback room has got to be really interesting in Cincinnati with A.J. McCarron because he wanted an opportunity to play, and they were like, "No, we're going to trade you to the worst team in the league."
He's one of those guys we're probably going to see next season with a new team getting a starting.
Remember what I said at the beginning of the season about Deshaun Kaiser? I was very worried about what was going to go on with him in Cleveland. He was the Fighting Irish quarterback for 2 years.
Came out too early.
And I said he's coming out too early. He's not ready. He's not physically or mentally mature. And the worst thing that could happen is him starting for a bad team. Now where's his psyche?
Yeah, he's been sat twice during games and then just put back
and now
out there
his
the
team was
following
just
week.
trying to trade
for someone else's
for
backup
someone
team.
else.
Yeah, backup quarterback to replace you. And every time they stick somebody else in instead of you, they're not any better, if not worse.
Right.
So, no, they never should have pulled the kid. If they were going to start him, they should have just left him in there, let him take his lumps and figure it out.
Right. And now his confidence is shot. He's undermined. The Browns are a mess, and they've got to get rid of their GM. He's got to go.
And there is one other big quarterback situation that's been taken care of for this season. We now know when Andrew Luck will play.
Never.
Not this year.
Right.
2018, maybe.
Yeah, and remember I said that at the beginning of the season. I said
Suck him out on the IR.
I think he is going to – I said there's every potential he's not going to play. And you know what? Heard on – I forget which broadcast, but apparently Andrew Luck's advisors and family have been in his ear saying you do not need to go out not 100% and play for this team. They were worried that he would continue to get injured, he continue to get beat up, and his career would be prematurely over because of how much danger he's being put in
for a bad team.
For a bad team.
Losing season and a bad team.
Right. Why? Remember I said that? I said that weeks ago. I said if I was Andrew Luck, I'd say before you, I'm not stepping on that field until you get me some damn protection.
Yeah, you better get an offensive line, and then we'll talk about it.
Over or under on Andrew Luck being with the Indianapolis Colts next year?
Oh man, I don't know.
I don't think he's there. I think his advisors want him out of Indianapolis, and I think that's Indianapolis' chance to restart the whole franchise. Luck would probably get 4 or 5 draft picks. All right, we're out of time.
Yeah, I guess we are.
Specumetrix Sunday Kickoff Show. Of course, all the bets and advice just for entertainment purposes only. Betting is illegal in California.
Don't forget to visit Specumetrix.com. Brand new website up and running now.
Go check it out.
It's fancy and nice now. You should go look at it.
Happy football.
See ya. Go Raiders.
Thank you for joining us for another.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend and drive safe.
Thank you much. We will see you on Sunday.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye.